Welcome to Street Smart Spirituality with your hosts, Barry and Cole, where each week we will be discussing diverse topics of spirituality, including the right use of will, A Course of Love, A Course in Miracles, The Way of Mastery, and much more. Join us on a global spiritual adventure with Cole in Australia and Barry in the U.S. And welcome, everybody, to Episode 2 of Street Smart Spirituality. We're going to continue on from our Episode 1 on expanded the art of true response. We've got Cole in Australia, and I'm here in the U.S. I'm going to give you a little brief overview for some of us, for some of you, if you were just starting from ground level, as far as what we talked about last week. But I recommend that you go back and listen to the entire first episode to get a better overview of what we were speaking about. The art of true response is the ability to truly communicate with one's own feeling, which then helps one to communicate with others on a deeper level, a level that is not just mental or verbal. Feeling then becomes a guiding light in successful mutual exchange, whatever the situation. This ability is, to a great extent, lost. Many people are not really in touch with all of themselves or with the true part of themselves, and most are certainly not in touch with the feeling body, which lies denied below their conscious awareness. There is a split between thought and feeling, and this is the cause of all evil. Notice if you skimmed over the above statement. I recommend you read it again. Herein lies the secret to healing. In most cases, feelings are not equal to thought. They lay hidden under clouds of denial, while the mind is preoccupied with stories and overflooded with information. To find complete oneness with ourselves, all feelings need to be recognized, accepted, and then evolved along with the other part of us. Here are some guidelines on how to do this easily and without much trauma, confusion, and the endless excessive thinking, verbalizing that makes us oblivious to this realm of denied feelings. This is a real solution to the human dilemma. The most important step in this evolution is to realize that what we usually think of as our feelings are not. They are thoughts that seem like feelings, but they are not. In most cases, even after having read the previous sentence, you will still believe these mental ideas are true feelings. But these endless descriptions and long stories only keep us away from what is really happening, and they are an avoidance of feeling. So once again, welcome Cole in Australia. And Cole, welcome.
Hey, Barry. Good to hear you again.
Why don't you just extrapolate on what I just read? And it was an 8-step process that you brought up last week, and now we are on step 3, I believe. So
step 3, yes.
Go to it, my friend.
What I want to come back to is that sentence that you said, there is a split between thought and feeling, and this is the cause of all evil. Yeah, because feeling is a very different texture to thought. Thought is electric, feeling is magnetic. And so most of us think more than we feel. There are some people who only think. There are also some people who only feel. And to them, the world doesn't really make much sense. But overall, there is generally a split, which is somewhere around the chest area, lower chest or solar plexus, where there is a division where you either feel or you either think. And the balance is the heart. That's why most of the latest works that are out there, The Way of the Heart, or The Course of Love, it's all about returning back to the heart. And so we need to generally acknowledge that there is not necessarily a good link between these two realms. One is magnetic, one is electric. And so we have often a storm going on because these two are in a misalignment. But when they're fully aligned together, the heart ignites and your body begins to also vibrate in its fullness, in its wholeness. So that's a really big distinction there, that there is a separation between thought and a feeling. But what mind did very cleverly was when when it's separated from feeling, from real true feelings, because when you truly feel your true feelings, you're in a direct experience of wholeness, which is God, which is love. Yes. And so what happened, mind came up with this quick solution saying, oh, don't worry about the feelings, we'll make some up. And it made up this falsity, what we call false feelings. And often they manifest as emotions. And sometimes you meet people who are emotional, yeah? They don't make much sense, yeah? And it's not that emotions are bad, they're fine, they're good, they're also part of it, and they're necessary, and they do need to express. But they are not true feelings. True feeling it's a separate field of us that only feels. The minute you attach any words to it, that's mind. So it's really important to be able to have the distinction between, anything that's producing a word or thought, and then the realm that just feels. And that would be difficult to express right now because we're talking and we're on devices that require speech. But this is what we're actually talking about. We're talking about how to join the spirit or the mind and the true feeling together in this third place, which we call heart. Like Jesus even talked, is like, hey, I'm not about a mind, I'm all about heart. So he gave us this Course in Miracles to train the mind to another way of seeing things and to true forgiveness. So we begin to forgive what? Well, what we've done to our feelings, because there is no one else there. You have these two main characters in yourself. It's you, which is the mind and the spirit, and it, which is the feeling body. Yeah. And our relationship with these feelings, the spirit's relationship with these feelings, is not in the best shape it could be. And therefore feelings are denied and often replaced by thoughts that masquerade as feelings, right? So just to elaborate on that distinction is very important. And then we came to this line where it says, feelings don't talk. Feelings feel. And so I'll give you a little demonstration of what you can try as you're listening for yourself. And rather than starting with a negative feeling, we start with something very easy to do. We start with something that feels good. So right now, even you, Barry, as you're there, see you can find a good feeling. You don't even have to tell me what it is. Just find something that feels good. And just see, first it comes as an idea, as a thought, yeah, like feeling good or feeling joy, yeah. Second part is you need to allow yourself to feel that joy or that peace or whatever the feeling is for you. And now comes the very important step. The more you feel it, the more it begins to expand. But it's not about pushing the feelings to make themselves to do something. You simply think a thought of joy, then you feel it, and then all you have to do is to step back and allow this feeling of joy to be felt more. And again, just step back. And once you feel comfortable with feeling more joy, let's do joy. Can you allow yourself to feel, step back and give even more space to this feeling of joy? And allow it to be what it is, because it's already there. It's already been created. It's just often not expressed. And what we're doing now, we're learning how to express it. We take time to feel good or feel joy. And then what we want to do, we want to make it physical. We want to make it visible. So can you feel this joy in your feet, in your toes? And you will be amazed that you're going like, oh my God, I can feel this little tingling going on in my feet. Can you go up your ankles and feel the same thing? So, your whole legs. So what you're slowly doing, you embodying a one word, which is called joy, which manifested as feeling. You obviously, I would say you might be loving this moment because joy cannot be hated, if it's real. But also we're making it physical. We're manifesting a physical reality with this joy. So you allow yourself to feel it in your entire body, including your hair or your earlobes or your liver, or I could go places simply everywhere, right? And you just allow yourself to feel more. Just by stepping back, you're not pushing it, you're not making it, you're just getting out of the way of a feeling to have a space to be. And then you might get a feeling that it's coming out of your body. And then if it's coming out of your body, get this idea that you're allowing this feeling to fill up the whole room. So suddenly it becomes thicker, in a way, like a thick joy. How many times in your life do you sit down and fully express your joy without talking about it and dispersing it, but just simply going quiet and expand it like a meditation on joy? I mean, I'm an intense dude, and I used to do this for like 5 hours. See, it's like, how long can you be in ecstasy, And what it does, it opens up these channels when you begin to learn how to expand feeling. And even so, it's positive at this point. We're going to go into negative in a moment. And once your room feels like it's full of this feeling and you're just cooking in it, like, it's thick in here, you open the windows and you let it flow in your backyard. And if you're a building, you just send it to every floor, up and down and the back and the front and the side and any angle. So you're just like a sun, just allowing an idea of joy to manifest into physical reality. And then you flood your whole shire or your whole suburb, and you just keep going and you begin to expand and expand. And you will be amazed how simple this is. And then, if you're game, you embrace the whole earth. You get every person to feel this everywhere. And then you start going away. And if you believe that you could go cosmic, go ahead. Like, sky is not the limit in this case. So you keep going, you go past the planets into the vast cosmos, and you might be amazed how quickly you can move further and further and further. And the more you're giving it, so this is the second step to it, is the more you give something, the more you have it. The more you have it, the more you can give it. The more you give it, the more you have it. And the more you have it, the more you can give it. This has no end. This capacity to express yourself fully until you fully express, until you go like, all right, enough joy. Let me go into ecstasy, or let me go into anything that arises. Because we don't want to dig out feelings. We want to step back and see what's the next feeling. And let's say you say, okay, so what do you do with negative feelings? Well, guess what? Same thing. But we try to hide negative feelings. It's like a habit from childhood. Don't express, don't be this, don't be that. And so we create this whole society where everything's in a rush, but we don't give full manifestation to who we truly are, because there is so much more to us than than the eyes can show us. We're entering into this realm of invisibility, yeah, and yet it's tangible. It's you can feel it, and the more you train yourself to feel, the more you begin to see that there is a whole undiscovered part of you that is like is been sleeping in there, like a sleeping giant, you know. And so you're just simply stepping back, and you give this feeling life. Give feelings freedom. You know, you can do it with a sense of freedom. Let's say, you know, feel freedom, feel it in your whole body, feel it in every part of you, and just allow it more and more until you can't bear it. And you know that you might have heard of that book called, or the movie called Unbearable Lightness of Being. And then you will know that as you practice this, that some of the feelings will become almost impossible to hold in a body. Course in Miracles says all expression of love are maximal. Can you feel them maximally is my question. Can you fully allow yourself to feel the love of God within you now, and that it vibrates in every single cell of your being until you begin to speed yourself up a little bit to the realms where you can understand and really see the different realms of association, how you can be and what else is available. You know, like you connect with a star. I know this sounds like a nutty idea, but suddenly your feeling reverberates, and you just start feeling this incredible oneness that just blows my mind. You know, blows my mind. Like, oh my God, I just connected to that star over there, and it sounds like a wanky idea, but it's pretty incredible. So you can do the same thing with the negative feeling. So Barry, what's your general? Okay, it doesn't have to be like a rage straight away or something heavy, but some unpleasant feeling, yeah? What would that be for you?
I guess just general fear, insecurities.
Okay, so feel that. Beautiful, beautiful. I love when men are having, enough balls to make this visible. Hey, I'm insecure. I have a feelings of insecurity. So same thing. So I'm going to guide you through this. Yeah? All I want you to say yes. Because at this point, we're just going to override the ego mind. Okay? So whatever I say, you just say yes. Can you agree to that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So feel this feeling of insecurity. And just allow it to be comfortably there. And can you allow yourself to feel it a bit more?
Yes.
Good. And as you say yes, can you feel it a bit more, right?
Yes.
And when you get comfortable with that, step back and just allow this discomfort, this sense of insecurity to be felt even more. Yes.
Yes.
Good. And a bit more.
Yes.
Good. And way more.
Yes.
So did you see what just happened? You're having this feeling of insecurity, and you're laughing. And you're not laughing because you're avoiding it. You're laughing because you're going, actually, how does it feel, Barry? Does it feel bad or good?
No, it feels like you open the gate on a corral and let all the cattle loose in the green pasture. I mean, there's an expansiveness there.
Yeah, bingo. And then keep going, and I tell you that, see, it is only the mind that made positive or negative feelings. The feelings don't know anything about positive or negative. Actually, feelings, all of them, are negative, because magnetic is the negative, plus is the electro is plus, and feeling is minus. That's why often feminine, which is associated with magnetic, is often seen as negative. But it is natural, like without a negative, you can't even start a car. Without negative, we wouldn't be able to do this podcast. Negative is everywhere. But we all, steadfastly attached to to positive. Yeah, positive. The light, the white, the this and that. And the dark's not good. Good is good, bad is bad. And like for me, the dark is the part of the creation that receives light. So the more I allow the space to open up of my darkness, it starts receiving the light. And let me tell you, my dark night of a soul is pretty orgasmic. I go like, this is happening now. This is good.
Yeah, we don't need to go down that alley.
No, we do. We do. You know what? You know what the Big Bang is? What do you think of the Big Bang?
Right use of will. It was orgasmic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But just people are not on this, because we are so, we're practicing spirituality. Where is the orgasm? It's going on right now. I tell you, we could do the same practice. Well, this is getting a little bit far-fetched, but hey, this is a street smart spirituality. You can go back to your books later on, you go back to your reading, but we're talking street smart spirituality. So I'm going like, can you find that sense of pleasure in you right now?
Sure.
Yeah. Feel it more?
Yes.
And a bit more?
Yes.
And step back and allow it to do its thing. And then you might find yourself that you want to take a deeper breath suddenly because you need to oxygenate your body because it's beginning to vibrate.
Exactly.
Now we are here, two guys, 15,000 kilometers apart, feeling orgasmic. Hey, what is it about? Why is it has to be only in a bed or behind the computer for some? Why can't it be all the time? Because you know what, that sense of orgasmicity is in you now. You're just not giving it a manifestation all the time. And what is that? That's a choice. It's all a choice, and same with negative feelings. It's a choice to deny them. It's a choice to express them. So anyway, that's to the introduction to the continuation of the steps to healing and a complete recovery. And in the last episode, we've gone to step 1 and 2. I'll quickly repeat them. So let's say you have a negative feeling that's a little bit too intense and too unhealthy looking because you've been denying it and not giving it life, not giving space to be for a long time. So it might look a bit sickly. So in the first step, it was talk to it. It's like hello feeling. So let's pick a feeling that we could do. What would you like? Would you like to do a feeling, Barry?
Sure.
Give me one that you would like. So we actually apply it live. So it's actually seen how it's done. And then, these steps to healing, we can put them under the video and under the YouTube thing, and people can follow that if they find this interesting.
Yeah, we'll start with a broad spectrum love.
Okay, well, let's get a negative feeling, something that's been more
feeling.
like something that you don't like feeling.
Oh, okay. Hesitation? Is that
That's
one?
not a feeling. That's action. Hesitation.
Okay.
I'm hesitating. I'm acting. I'm hesitating. See, frustration is not a feeling. People say, I'm feeling frustrated. It's not really a feeling. It's an action. You're jittering. You're moving yourself, and it's not necessarily. It's a mind thing. Feelings are more like sadness or shame, feeling of shame. It just comes as a feeling. It overpowers us. Feeling of,
Yeah, I rarely feel shame, but we can certainly start with that because I know it's a prevalent.
Let's do shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I actually learned this whole thing on. I felt shame, and then one day I said, "Oh, maybe I'll just try those steps because these feelings doesn't really feel very nice in me." So what you do, you just feel that feeling a little bit, and instead of denying it or attacking it or trying to get rid of it, you say hello. So go, hello, shame.
Hello, shame. How are
Yeah.
you?
It feels almost stupid. Like, what? Am I talking to my feelings now? I'm completely nuts. Am I completely nuts? It's like, hello, shame. I just want to be your friend. I want to find out who you are and why you're in such an unpleasant feeling. And you basically talk to it. You engage your own lingo and your own conversation as if you're talking to an old friend that you haven't seen for a long time, but your last meeting wasn't very pleasant. So hello, shame. I want to be your friend. What would you say?
Well, I want to clarify something first for the listeners. I mean, we can do this at any time, right? It doesn't have to be right after the moment we experience shame. Like, can we go home and sit down, have a glass of wine, and say, "Hey, it's about time I talk to my feelings." Is that correct?
Nice, exactly. What you want to actually, let's do this. This is really good point. You want to create a safe place for you. You need to find safe space because you know what? Feelings don't show up because they don't feel safe with you. It's not the other people. Feelings, on most of the feelings, particularly very subtle feelings that are almost like very like subtlety. This, oh man, sometimes I go into these feelings that are just like, I can't even breathe when I want to feel that feeling. It's just such a slow, subtle vibration that I need to go so still and I have to feel safe. So you ask yourself a question, what do I need to do right now to feel perfectly safe? And don't worry, your mind will help you because there is this other part of your mind that has a deep intent to help you. And this deep intent to help is necessary part of us. We need to ignite. Some people call it Holy Spirit. Some people call it, ask God help, ask your higher self or the power beyond your own or something in you that you totally trust. And say, please show me, how can I feel totally safe? So right now, how safe do you feel from 0 to 10, Barry?
9.
Is that how safe you feel?
Yeah, 9.
Good. So what would have to happen for you to feel 10? Say totally. Yeah. See, smiles comes in. Just be as real as you can.
Yeah, it's fluctuating between 9 and 10. The only difference would be I would be alone, not on the internet, in a safe space, solitary, by myself.
Beautiful, and there is your answer. And for some people, it could be something else. For me, it was first time when I did this was like, go in your bed and cover yourself, put a blanket over your head, and just get really comfy. And I go like, oh, okay, I do that. And as soon as I did it, I was just flooded with a sense of safety that I haven't felt in years. And this is incredible practice between people. Like, sometimes we have partners where we don't feel safe with, because, betrayal or sense of busyness. Men don't tune into their women. Women are pissed off with their men. So this is an incredible practice with couples where I go, how safe do you feel with me from 0 to 10? And she goes, 4. And he goes, what's the first thing I need to do for you to feel safer? Can you hear me?
Sure. Yeah.
And I'd say, I need you to maybe just slow down and maybe breathe with me. And he goes, okay, like this. She goes, oh yeah. And suddenly we increase, she goes, oh, that's 7. And he goes, what else can I do for you to feel safe? She goes, oh. And it was really important for a woman in particular to feel the feeling that she wants him to feel, and then make that feeling visible like we did before. You just enter the feeling, and when you really feel it, you say, oh, I need you to just really hold me with your energy. And he goes, oh, you mean like this? And she goes, oh my God, 10, right? So now, yeah, it's beautiful, you know? And then you reverse, and then, you know, she asks, you know, what can I do for you to feel safe? And what I often find with my clients, that men often go into lower numbers than women. You know, I watch couples, and couples go, you know, she says, how safe do you feel with me? He goes, 1. And he goes, what? She goes, what? And I goes, yeah, 1. I don't feel safe at all, actually. And instead of going into an argument, she will definitely feel a bit of a shock. Instead of going into an argument, she goes, okay, what's the first thing I need to do for you to feel safer? And he might say, I don't know, just could you just love me in this my unsafe place? And she goes, okay. And then suddenly he goes, 7. And she goes, wow. So now she knows what to do for him to create this container in which the true communication can begin. Because let me tell you, if we don't feel safe with somebody, the will, the part of ourselves that is a pure feeling, it goes away. It needs safety and it needs love for it to even come to be known. That's why I'm saying this part of us we call righteous or will, or the will, is unknown to many people, because not many people actually feel safe in this world. But you can question yourself, and this inner guide, inner spirit, something, the intent to heal, will guide you to total safety. And when you start feeling safe, your feeling range begins widen. It becomes wider and wider, and suddenly you earn a communication with your partner, for example, that you haven't been in years. Maybe when you fell in love for the first time, but suddenly 18 years later, 20 years later, or 30 years later, you go, oh my God, I feel like we just met when we had this amazing love. Because love doesn't come when there is discomfort and where there is tension between two people, where they have stuff with each other. So first we establish this container of safety, and in that safety, a much larger communion takes place. Sometimes just doing this is the whole healing. I do this with my girlfriend every single time we meet. At a point of meeting, how is it? She goes, 5. And I immediately begins to tune. I begin to immediately tune into her. Because, you know, let me tell you a secret. This is a second secret. Woman's pleasure is much nicer than man's pleasure. Where women can go with pleasure, when man learns how to actually ride on her pleasure, he gives himself incredible service. Because women can go into these realms of the feeling that we guys are not that familiar with. And so that's a great secret to be able to. So when I'm with my partner, I want to go into her realm, because her realm is just way more refined and profound, you know. And what that does, that ignites my masculine, because now I'm feeling her subtle realms, and I have something to be present for, because she's showing me her true feelings, you know. And I go, oh, wow, and now I suddenly have an attention, and then my presence comes in, you know. And anyway, I think this is a topic we want to take later on. I think I kind of jumped off. Man, I could I'm unstoppable a little bit. I'm an overexcited dude. Let's go back to the steps, okay? I think we've done enough on...
I thought that was part of the steps.
Yeah, but it is, because creating safety and even creating a container where your feelings begin to feel safe with you. It's definitely a key, a deep, unknown, quite unknown sort of container that if we don't create this, the feelings just become a mental masturbation, Talk about feelings, you can do it. I did these men's groups at some point, and somebody just hold the bone and talk for 10 minutes, and I'm just kind of like, wow, I'm so bored, And so now when I'm in a men's group, I go like, hey man, how you feeling? And he goes, yeah. And I go, yeah, I got it. Cool. And that's how we share feelings. We don't go into this endless descriptions and thing, because he oozes the feeling at me. I connect to it. And now we're in Lemuria, because Lemuria was a society where main communication was feelings. I don't know if you know about this, but there was this civilization called Lemuria where they communicate this way. I feel something and I go woo, and you go ooh, and you send me a feeling back and I go ooh. They didn't even have language. They only had sign language, like they move their hands and they have facial expressions and things, but they didn't actually have words. As opposed to Atlantis, that was very much elaborate detail and extreme refined thought patterns and structures. So which is our world, is very very much in this more spirit polarized way, evolving language and expression, whereas the feeling realm is a little bit behind. So now that you feel safer with that feeling as you talk to it, comes to step 2. And the step 2, so which one did we do? We did shame, didn't we?
Yeah, shame.
So step 2 is accept the feelings' responses to you. Accept its responses to you. Can you accept them? Can you accept shame? 100%?
Yes.
100.
As far as I know.
All right, Bert, this is a trick question. So don't do the yes thing now.
Okay.
What is it really? Can you really accept shame?
No.
Good. Yes. Now you're speaking truth. So can you see how you fooled yourself? You said yes, yes, yes. And of course, I kind of told you to say yes. But now we need to get real. We need to actually see that we don't have a yes, that we do not have acceptance for our feelings. Now let me tell you the secret, number 3, which is feelings cannot evolve in the presence of non-acceptance. Bingo. End of story. So now we need to develop a real, genuine acceptance. Yeah? Now, how do you do that if you actually have a non-acceptance for a feeling? Yeah? My question is, can you accept your non-acceptance?
Is that another trick question?
It's not a trick question. It's a real deal question. And I'm almost could guarantee that your answer would have to be no.
Right, yeah.
But,
I mean, it's just...
Yeah, you can't accept your non-acceptance, right? And now I ask you, can you accept that?
I can accept it. I cannot accept it, yes.
Can you?
Yes, yeah. That would be my truth.
100%? Feel?
Sure.
Feel more? Feel more? 100%?
Sure.
Yeah? All right. I don't fully believe you, but okay, let's be. When I did this first time...
Wait. you're asking me to accept my non-acceptance of non-acceptance. So I'm where I was at the beginning.
I'm not. I'm asking you, can you accept the non-acceptance of your non-acceptance?
Can I? Yes. That's a definite possibility. Can I? Yes.
It's a possibility, but can you right now?
Well, if it was actual true shame, probably not.
Exactly. That's where we want to go. To be honest, because we want to be radically honest here. And when I did this first time, I had the same thing. I was doing shame. Can I accept the shame? Actually, no. Can I accept the fact that I can't accept it? No. Can I accept that? No. How about that? No. How about that? No. How about that? No. And I said, oh, where am I going to go now? And I'd repeated it like 20 times. And I just had this constant no. And I realized that I'm screwed. In my mind, I was like a unconditional non-acceptance of feeling. And then when I realized that, this compassion came in. I felt immense compassion for myself for being this in a no man's land. I was unconditional non-acceptant of my feeling self. I just had no acceptance for it. And so this compassion comes in and helped me to heal my non-acceptance. And so suddenly I came to a point where I go like, oh, I have now acceptance of my non-acceptance. That healed my non-acceptance. And I could genuinely be present with my feeling in a full acceptance. The minute that happened, my feeling expanded to a brand new, like it evolved because I gave it safety and a space and a loving presence, that compassion brought up this loving presence, and in that loving presence, that feeling began to expand and just be a new feeling. And I'm going, wow, I'm feeling non-acceptance, and how come I'm feeling nice? I'm feeling shame. How come I'm feeling really nice? I feel shame and I go like, God, this is actually quite a nice feeling. I was like, what? Makes no sense. I was just standing there and I was smiling ear to ear. I'm going, wow, I'm feeling shame, but I'm actually feels nice. And then I almost went like, okay, let me go into the experience where I had shame before and I just feeling good there. And this is how you resurrect yourself, right? This is the pure resurrection. You can't, it's incredible. And that's just the second step. Now, step 3 is explain to the feeling why you had to deny it, right? So you say, hey, feeling shame, I had to deny you because you would just come up and you made me blush and you make me feel terrible and I had to hide it. And you just talk to it as if it was your friend. And guess what? You're actually not only talking to your shame, you're talking to your whole feeling body. Because you know what? Eventually you realize there is only one feeling. Feeling. That's it. But it has different waves and it has different textures and you have different shades and colors and has different temperatures and it's an incredible labyrinth of things. But mind has judged those and froze them. So they become like stone. That's why a lot of teachings, people grab something or they have an experience and go like, oh my God, I want to have this experience tomorrow and after tomorrow and always. And they lock it up. And next day they wake up and go like, where is that experience I had yesterday? Well, you just put it in a prison. Because today there's already a new thing emerging and you just want to have the thing from yesterday, you see? So you're simply just talking to it and you just get really honest and you will get used to this sense of talking to the feelings. It becomes an amazing conversation until, guess what? they begin to speak back at you. And I know. See, this is a joyous healing. This is such a profound, beautiful evolution of feeling body. That's, you're just giggling all the time because it's what? It's a loving, genuinely loving approach to this part of ourselves that only feels, right? And that's just a step 3. Now comes a step 4. You ready? Apologize to it. Apologize to your shame that you've been denying it, not only this lifetime, but probably from the beginning of creation. So you go, hey shame, I'm sorry.
You're not apologizing to the shame itself. You're apologizing. You're apologizing to denying the shame.
Yes, yeah. But you're also apologizing to the shame directly, and you're also apologizing to your whole feeling body for controlling it, manipulating it, denying it, not giving space to express. Because, if I just express this, I'll hurt people's feeling. And so we lock ourselves into this prison of talking in generalization and not really sharing what we truly feel. But let me tell you, when you actually start sharing your real feelings, it's not going to be the doomsday that it could be. Because if you do it correctly, right use of will, when you do it correctly, you will not offend your friends. Actually, opposite. They will go, oh my God, I'm feeling so much more of myself, but I can also experience you profoundly. And now we are dropping into union together. We are in communion because I can share everything. I don't have to hide anything. Course in Miracles says a really amazing line. It says like, it's not what you hide, it's that you hide that's causing you pain. So it's not what it is, but it's that you hide it. That you can't tell your best friend what triggers triggers you. You don't tell your partner, and then you tell them something else, and then they get upset because they feel there's no truth behind what you're saying. So like the lesson 5 in the Course in Miracles says, you are never upset for the reason you think, right? Why am I really upset is the real question. And once you have that answered, you'll actually see that what you are judging right in front of you is not the issue. Issue is somewhere else. But let's do that one when we do Course in Miracles podcast, hey?
Yeah, I just wanted to interject too. I think one of the really unique aspects of this training and stuff is the total lack of judgment. I mean, there's no judgment. It's funny, you know, talking about talking to your feelings and sharing feelings and stuff. And I mean, you and I have known each other for a couple of years, and we go back and forth all the time. And you know, we joke. I mean, you needle me into doing stuff, and I needle you, and you say, you know, shut the blank blank, and I say, go to blank blank, and it's the moment, and it's past. And if I have that interaction with somebody else, I hold on to that.
Yeah.
So our feelings to you or yours to me, as far as I interpret it, is it's a true, honest feeling. I'm not saying it to hurt you. I'm giving you my honest feeling, like, hey, piss off. I mean, you've been wanting me to narrate the Ryoancha book for 2 years now, and that's like a year project. And I just keep telling you, hey, you know, take a jump in the river because I can't do it, and then I just move on to something else. But if somebody else comes at me with that from another group, I'll just say, you know, geez, you're pissing me off. Quit needling me about that. And I'll hold on to that anger, and I'll hold on to that energy, and it's wrong.
Right.
So whatever relationship, energetic relationship we've got is the one that works.
That's right. Because, you know, we're transparent. You know, I'm transparent. Right. It's about showing what's really there. That's how we get to know each other. But first, you have to find out what is there between you and what is still you. Because it's your mind and there is this feeling thing. It's like two different camps that are often in separation. It's like two magnets, when they facing each other, they click into this one thing. Whereas if you're in denial, you're turning these magnets the other way, so they repulse each other. And so you become repulsive not only to others, to yourself, and then you're in this constant conflict. Yeah? So what we're doing in here, we're actually going into like a true forgiveness, because we begin to forgive ourselves for rejecting ourselves. Because if you reject part of yourself, you don't have all of you with you. You become stranger to yourself.
Right.
And so this steps to healing is like an embrace of part of ourselves that takes all of you with you. So then when you love somebody, you love them wholeheartedly. You love them with everything that's in you, not just the bits that look good. Yeah? Right? So the step 4 was apologize to the feeling. And then step 5, ask the feeling's forgiveness. Ask the feeling to forgive you. So you say, hey, shame, can you forgive me for denying you for so long? And then you become receptive. You step back and you wait for the answer. And, feelings, they've been so overridden. I don't particularly like you either. We all think that we have a relationship to our feelings. What we often don't see, that relationships have feeling to us, and we don't know anything about that relationship, right? And so, without feelings, there is no real heart. You can imagine love and you can sense positive vibrations to people, but if you're not whole in yourself, like I said yesterday, you are either whole or you're asshole, It's just like you just can't be real. You can't be nice to people. You can't be genuinely you, because part of you is not there. And if you don't love yourself unconditionally, you can't love anyone else unconditionally, and they will feel it. And they will also not love you unconditionally, because they're playing out for you this separation that we hold in ourselves. Separation from God is a separation from self. Separation from God is a separation from yourself. Because if you have all these 4 parts ignited in you, you will stop searching for God, because you will remember yourself. And in that remembrance, you have all of yourself with you. So your spirit gets ignited, your will gets ignited, your heart is born, and then your body begins to manifest it as a physical manifestation of who you truly are. And then you experience this orgasmicness of the self, which is, it's another way of being than just walking around and bitching about what's going on in the world.
I imagine that the first time somebody sits down and does this exercise and actually starts talking to their feelings like they want to talk to shame, I'm guessing is that shame's going to turn around and go, who the hell is this?
Yeah, totally.
You haven't talked to me. You haven't acknowledged me in this lifetime or the last 500 lifetimes. So,
yeah,
you probably put shame in shock.
Yeah, but you know what? Eventually, when the shame begins to really express itself, it will probably tell you, you had me at hello. You actually had me at alone, but I had to test you. I had to spend more time believing that I had to trust that this is even real. Like, who really embraces their feeling with all they love, with this unconditional, like I'm like saying to the feeling, I am with you unconditionally now, and whatever arises, here I am, and I don't know if you're going to be able to stay present for everything that arises from the subconscious. But here I am. I'm now not moving because I want to discover myself. People say, the whole thing is like, people say, like, well, just love yourself. Well, who is the one who loves who? Love yourself. Or like, who am I loving? If I'm I, who am I loving? Who is the I that loves the I? This is idiotic, isn't it? It's like, no, it's this thing. It's like there is 4 parts to you. You have mind, thinking, you have feeling, then you have heart, and then you have body. This body is an amazing piece of machinery that, if it's driven properly, it begins to emanate. And that's what the sages, the sort of the more awakened dudes, that's what they do. They sit in this exquisite wholeness of themselves, some of them, and people go and sit around near them, and they go, ooh, I'm feeling something in here. They call it like a Shaktipat. But it's not that good for you if you have to every time go to the dude to get it. They don't really show you how to do it yourself. I say, you go to meditate for 30 years and you go sit there repeating these crazy words forever, and 40 years later, you're still a grumpy asshole,
Yeah, that's
it's like, you disrupted my meditation right now.
Yeah, that's something, I think that's going to be a whole different episode down the road. That's something I picked up a long time ago, and it's actually an old Zen saying that says, the true stillness is not stillness within stillness, it is stillness within motion. And that's got so many different levels, and I want to devote a whole episode to that down the road. But yeah, that's exactly what you said. People go in there, and they're basically hitchhiking off the energy of the guru. And then they go, and then they walk outside the Sangha, and they go, piss off, get me a cab. And it's all gone because they just can't maintain it.
Yeah, and some can. I mean, and like we all on a journey, and I did the same thing. I used to sit with some people and go like, okay, whatever this is. But when you find it for yourself, and you know what, these crazy 8 steps, as all I needed. It wasn't what I think it's going to be. And I had all sorts of crazy awakenings on my way. But when this came in here, I realized that no matter how awake I was, I had this thing dragging behind me, this luggage of rejected feelings. So I actually sort of spark myself off the feeling, and I've experienced light. But it wasn't a loving light. And, in Righteous Soul, there's a cool line. It says, more light is not necessarily better. Like, you want to find light that feels good to you. Because I could shine so much light that you would actually begin to feel uncomfortable. So that's not the purpose. The purpose is like, hey, how about I use my light? You use yours. And we find this place where it feels good. Like the sweet spot. With my girlfriend, we drop into this sweet spot. It's like we make love all the time because it's like, oh, the sweet spot. You know what I mean? We find it, and then I hold it because masculine holds the container, and then she just keeps oozing, without losing. And more you ooze, less you lose, because the more you give, more you have, and more you have, more you give. And there comes the lesson 108 from Course in Miracles that, it's like, it's got to be practical. That's where I'm always into this, like, okay, what can I do that it's going to really work? Not that I have to do something for 30 years and then maybe I will be a bit more saner. I want to be saner now. And these steps there are amazing how they transform and how they awaken this part of ourselves that only feels. So let's finish this off. Let me just finish the steps off, so we don't make this too long. So we've done step 5, ask feelings forgiveness, and then you got to forgive yourself for denying feelings. Somewhere you go like, I forgive myself for denying my feelings for so long. Let's say, can you forgive yourself? Somewhere you get into this attitude of God, I'm sorry what I've done to myself that I didn't even know I can communicate to my feelings. See, right there's forgiveness of self. Yeah? And again, forgiveness is something you got to feel, it's got to be, it's got to be tangible. And in a Steps to Healing, I have this line say, I accept myself for denying my feelings, and I forgive myself for not being able to accept myself earlier. You want to write this down. This is a kicker. I accept myself for denying my feelings, and I forgive myself for not being able to accept myself before. Because it's not that you need to accept yourself, you need to forgive yourself. You actually, acceptance is a key to the whole thing. But it has to be genuine acceptance. Yeah? And if you keep doing that, you will release yourself. You actually find like, ooh, I'm okay. Yeah, I've screwed up and I'm starting again. And I will never deny my feelings ever again. And there are moments when I deny my feelings because I'm not in a safe space. So I go, okay, I'm aware I'm not in a safe place. I can't really express this genuinely. I will express it a bit later. So that works really well too. So forgive yourself for denying it. And here comes a really interesting one. Step 7, release the judgments involved. Now watch this. Say, hey shame, I've been calling you shame, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe you're not a shame. Maybe you're something else. What are you? And now you sit there again in this state of receptivity, and you're waiting for your shame to inform you of what you called shame before, to inform you what it really is. And you know what? You might not get the answer straight away, but one day you must just be, cutting potatoes, and then suddenly it hits you, Shame goes, you know what I am? I am this. And then you know what happened to me? I broke down. When I saw the beauty of that energy that I call shame, I was on my knees. I was crying my eyes out because I actually saw that this will is the great mother of everything. She's the source of life. She's the source of manifestation, together with body. And when I actually begin to see what this will, what this feeling body is, I could only bow down to it. I virtually had this like a slight bow down going on automatically in reverence and in this profound gratitude. So, yeah, when I released my judgment of feeling, anger, I've been calling you anger, but maybe you're not anger. What are you? And then you begin to be informed by your feeling body what it really is. Because we have judged this feeling body so bad that it just looks like a bruise. That's why we don't want it. We don't want anything to do with it. But really, it's just like I said last time, it's that thing of like Princess and the Frog story, You begin to kiss these feelings, and you begin to embrace them, and you begin to apologize to them, and you release the judgments on them, and suddenly they turn into a prince. They turn into, let's do it the other way. If the prince was kissing the frog, she turns into a princess, because feeling is more the feminine, and the spirit is more of the masculine aspect. And so that's step number 7. And step number 8 is to negotiate a new relationship between this part of yourself and the rest of you. Right? So, you go, shame, I just want to be your friend. I want to learn from you. I want to find out more about you. I simply want to be in a relationship with you now. So you negotiate a new relationship, which is, hey, let's be buddies. Let's be not enemies, and teach me what you have to offer. So that's the step 8. Sometimes I call this 8 steps. And this is not my invention. It comes from Right Use of Will book, blue one, Steps to Healing and Complete Recovery. When I read it first few times, I just skimmed over it and didn't pay any attention to it until I did. And sometimes, I did the whole Right Use of Will series, and it was such a pain in the rear. And when I realized that I missed these steps, and without these steps, it is an agony, that whole journey. But the rest of the books is really just to help you to get in touch with feelings with which you have a really bad relationships, and they begin to be accepted, and then they begin to evolve. And with the feelings, your spirit begins to awaken to a whole new way of being, the whole new way of vibration, and your little mind vanishes, and then you get into this profound way of being inspired. You get inspired by what you are all about, Anyway, how's that?
Very good. That and obviously you skimmed over a lot of stuff, but that's it's transformative work, and it's like I mentioned before. Not a whole lot of people are familiar with it, and even the small exercises that we did along the way, I'm sure is going to be brand new to most people. But the trouble with most people, well, not trouble, but I mean society in general now is, you got to almost twist somebody's arm off to get them to sit down for 5 minutes to be by themselves in a safe place, because I don't think that most people really have a place that they feel safe in.
But and, you know what, Barry? Sorry to cut you in, but let me tell you something. Forget the other people.
Right.
Course of Love says a good thing. It says, only you can be accomplished. When you are accomplished, this world as you know it will vanish. Will vanish, and you will just be in a different world, period. You will not see what everyone else is seeing. So, it's not about what people do. What am I doing? Am I transforming? And, I used to go out there and trying to do things, and now I don't. If something triggers me, I go like, oh, nice. I've got a homework to do. And I sit and go like, oh, how does this make me feel? And I step back. And sometimes it takes 3 days before the feeling actually appears. And I go, oh, there it is. Ooh, I don't have a good relationship to this. Well, of course, because it's manifesting in my outside reality. Right?
Right.
And basically, what happens after the steps to healing and recovery, there's in the Right Use of Will, it says, this process is going to be ongoing for quite some time if you really get into it. If you can't find your own denials, look around you and see what's happening in the world, and then let all the feelings come up about these situations that you're in. I recommend take one at a time, grab an issue, find out how it makes you feel. Then the issue is no longer important, because once you're with a feeling is that which manifested that issue outside you. So now you have the feeling, and now you want to evolve that feeling so it's not manifesting hell for you, but it manifests heaven. By the way, secret number 4, heaven is below. Heaven is below. It's not above. Guaranteed. It's below. It's right there in the will, and she can manifest it for you. She's the great mother of everything that births anything you put into her. If you put rubbish in her, you will have life full of rubbish. You put love into her, she will manifest love. You want heaven? You become present for her with your loving acceptance. She will manifest heaven for you on earth now, in this very moment, not one day. If we do this correctly, and you would devote a couple of weeks to truly embrace your feeling body, you begin to see that heaven is something that you can experience now. Golden age is already happening. The orgasm's already happening. We're just not on it. We're busy trying to get spiritual. And that spirituality is another avoidance kind of journey to nowhere, often. It is. I'm sorry to say, man, but I've seen it, I've seen it around, and it's like people freaking doing all this crazy stuff that they think they have to do, all these mad practices, and I'm going like, wow, that's like really journey to nowhere.
Let me ask you another question in regard to the shame issue. When you're sitting down and talking to shame, are you talking in regard to a specific incident in your life that generated shame, or are you talking about shame as a general feeling? And will your interaction with shame wipe out everything from that point on?
What triggers you is not important. It's that it triggers you, which is good. So once I use the world to show me what I'm holding in denial, and because the feelings are magnetic and they magnetize these situations to you. We can talk about this next episode could be about true forgiveness. That could be good. Because people trying to forgive, and they forgive and forgive and forgive, and it's still happening, right? So anything that's in the world, you use it to trigger you. You don't want to try to change people because they are your saviors. They're showing you what's denied in you. So once someone's triggered, you say, thank you, brother. I'll see you later. I've got work to do. You don't go into arguments. You say, hey, thank you. I'm triggered. Mwah! Give him $100, He deserves it, or she, And then you go home and you go, ooh, what did this trigger in me? And now, let's say shame, and here you go. You're starting to go, hello, shame. I want to be your friend. Let's talk. Let's have an honest conversation. And the steps are so beautiful because they just gently direct you in kind of how to resolve this long-standing issue between spirit and your own will, So that's, and then you will realize too, I turn it now down to 3 steps. It's like situation. How does a situation make me feel? So now I'm with the feeling. And then the 3rd step is, what is my relationship to this feeling? Because the steps to healing is like, I am changing my relationship to the feeling. Feelings are okay. They're holding a lot, but they're feelings. It's the attitude of the spirit or of the mind of our own head is punitive, non-accepting, and in most cases we don't actually know what the will has to offer for us, what the feelings, what an amazing role they play in our life.
Right.
So
that's a great idea. Let's focus next episode. Let's do it on the art of forgiveness.
Yeah,
that's resonates
true forgiveness. Yeah, totally.
And let's wrap this up now. We're going into 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Wow.
So I want to say a couple of things real quick before we end. We both, Cole and myself, want to thank everybody for the incredible response and comments we've been getting on the episodes. Obviously with any new endeavor, the first couple episodes are going to be a little rough until we hit pavement, and then everything will be smooth sailing. We're not only dealing with concepts, we're dealing with technical issues from being across the world. Also, I set up a specific email address for anybody that wants to submit questions. You can see it on the bottom of the graphic. It is streetsmartpodcast@gmail.com. We're not gonna guarantee answering everybody's questions. We're not putting ourselves up as teachers or gurus. If there's a basic question that might help you avoid a few stumbles along the way, we'll answer it. But we're not gonna solve your life problems, but we'll certainly help whatever we can, and I'm pretty sure that Cole agrees with that concept.
Yeah, fine. Anything. We're just playing. We're having fun. We're in the street, mate.
Yeah, I mean, if this wasn't fun, if I didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't be doing it because, Australians are notorious pains in the ass, and I don't need this shit.
I often get it. People say, Cole, you must write a book. It's like, I'm not a writer. I wouldn't enjoy it. I'm a talker, if anything, and I'm still learning how to get this across in a simpler way. And I get lost in so many things that I have to express. So, it's a learning curve. And it was nice to listen to our previous podcasts, and I'm already learning lessons, and and some of them I'm speaking too loud, and I get overexcited because this is just such a, this is my absolute passion. I thrive on this. It's so beautiful, and to genuinely find this genuine inner peace that's not just something that I, sit somewhere separated in a cave with some, stream of water meditating, but that this is happening, that this ecstasy is happening. If I'm in town, I could be in all sorts of situations, and it doesn't really matter. And the free flow of feeling is a blessing. It's a pure blessing. Yeah.
And it comes through. I mean, it comes through with the sincerity and the honesty and the experience that you've had with hundreds of clients and all the people you deal with on a daily basis. So.
Yeah.
I want to thank you again for sharing this insight, and hopefully we're touching some hearts out there.
Yeah, and thank you, Barry. Thanks for initiating this, and I love the title. I love it, and I love how you come up with these crazy all sorts of ideas that we like publishing a Urantia book, and it's like you come with stuff, and you go, hey, cool. How about we do this, and how about we do that? It's like, yeah, man. I love it. So yeah.
One of these days I'm gonna have to get a real job. So say goodnight, Cole, and we'll see everybody on the third episode.
Yeah, good morning, good night, and good afternoon. Wherever you find yourself, a good middle of night,
Yeah, we've got a worldwide audience. I mean, that's the great thing about the internet. So we will talk to you soon, everybody.
Yeah.
And thanks for giving us a listen.
Thank you.